I'm honored to join my colleagues today to speak about the child tax credit and do something similar to what they've done and just make it personal to families. Today or tomorrow, on the 15th of December, more than 930,000 Virginia families who together have 1.6 million kids will receive a child tax cut payment, $300 for a child under age 6, and $250 for each child between age 6 and 17. Those are big numbers. Those are big numbers. 1.6 million children, 930,000 families. And I'm here joining my colleagues to ask that this payment to parents, this parents' tax cut to help their children is not the last, because unless we act, the sixth payment that will go out tomorrow will be the last. Now, the numbers are big, but sometimes the numbers can obscure, data and statistics can obscure what's really at stake. So just a week ago, I put out on my Senate webpage a question: what has this tax cut meant to your family? And in 1 week, we've received more than 200 responses, and I just want to share a few with you. Heather from Glen Allen is a full-time caretaker of her physically disabled daughter. Her daughter started having trouble with the stairs in her home, so they used the child tax cut payment to help them buy a new stair lift. So our daughter is still able to navigate their home. Heather wrote to me this, quote, "My family deeply appreciate the child tax credit because we routinely incur additional expenses while caring for a loved one with a disability. I take care of our daughter full time, which makes us a one-income household, so the tax credit makes a difference." Beatrice from Rockingham in the Shenandoah Valley works at Cooks Creek Presbyterian Church, and she sees how the child tax cuts have affected families they work with. One mother of 6, whose husband is incarcerated, relies on the payments to help with her child's medical expenses. Another couple that comes to this church, they're in their 60s. They're raising their great-nephew because his mother suffers from addiction. The tax cut is helping them cover necessities for this nephew. Lawanda, and I have a picture of Lawanda and her family. She's a single mom from South Boston, down on the North Carolina border. Lawanda sent me this picture and said, use this picture. She used the payments to help buy clothes and shoes for her children and to buy fresh fruit and vegetables, which they usually can't afford. I love this picture because this is a picture of people with smiles. These are resilient people who dream of a better future, and this child tax cut is helping them achieve it. Something as simple as being able to buy fresh vegetables rather than canned, or shoes. Something as simple as that is what this child tax cut is about. A Virginian from Lynchburg wrote that the tax cut has helped buy healthy food, clothing, and shoes, and then she said this: "Children grow so fast now and eat more, which causes many trips to the grocery store. We're senior citizen retired grandparents with legal guardianship of our granddaughter. With this being the last payment in December, which will be used partly for Christmas gifts for her, we will really have to stretch." Grandparents raising a granddaughter and finding in this tax cut the ability to afford Christmas gifts. Nicole from Leesburg is using the tax cut for therapy for her autistic son because insurance no longer covers it. Another picture, Sasha from Midlothian, which is right outside of Richmond. Sasha wrote to me and said this, and if you could, this is Sasha and her young one. "My husband and I both have secure jobs, but the cost of full-time infant care is very high. We spend 23% of our combined monthly income on daycare for one child, our 1-year-old son. We also just paid off my student loans and are saving to buy our first house next year. The child tax credit has allowed us to save more money for that house and to pay off debts. We would like to grow our family, but worry about our financial burden." She also wrote, "Thank you for working so hard to pass the Build Back Better bill. I'm following it closely because it means so much to my family's future." From Alexandria, a constituent wrote, "Before the pandemic, the high price of childcare made it difficult to balance my family's budget. Each month, we went into debt a little bit more. My husband is a full-time student. I'm the sole breadwinner. The child tax credit helped me start to pay down debt, to begin an emergency fund, and to start a college fund for their son. A resident from Waynesboro, I benefited tremendously with the child tax credit. I'm a single parent in every aspect, raising 2 growing boys. It's helped me out with getting things they need for the school year. Also, I saved some to be able to give them a good Christmas. Finally, LaQuanda from Roanoke, all she said was, please fight for us. Please fight for us. I could go on for a long time with these messages, as could my colleagues, but I'll stop there. I've read you stories from people who live in every region in Virginia. I want to thank my colleagues, Senators Bennett, Brown, Booker, Warnock, Cortez Masto, and others for leading the charge on getting this policy into the American Rescue Plan earlier this year. And I want to thank all of my Democratic colleagues, because this thing passed by 1 vote in March. If any of us had been absent, if any of us had lost our last race, the American Rescue Plan would have failed, and none of these families would have received the support of the child tax credit. Well, we're going to have that opportunity again, and given the fact that one party has said they will not support this bill, it's on our shoulders. And these families who are struggling and working so hard and who have hopes as high as any of our hopes, they need us, as LaQuanda said, they need us to fight for them.